taught them how to read, write, understand, get the word in their hearts. It was, and they had more, a desire to learn more. Okay, let's talk about some of the schools that open up. The first colleges that open up for higher learning, but it was only to train ministers. Harvard College. This is the original drawing of what Harvard looked like in Massachusetts. We all know Harvard is what? Leslie? Yes, Sam? A law school. What else? It's very popular, right? I'm sure all your families would love to see you go to Harvard. Okay, it's a medical school, but it was actually built to train ministers originally. And then there's one school in Virginia that was also used to train ministers. Yeah, there you go. William and Mary. William and Mary. Now, one last thing I want to share with you before we end right now. There was this whole movement in Europe, and it was called the Enlightenment. This is number 19 on the back. Enlightenment. The Enlightenment. This really made education move forward. It started in Europe, and it started with an idea that it had to bring knowledge. Knowledge, of course, you know, book learning, book smarts, reason, okay, able to think for yourself, thinking things out analytically, and science. So knowledge, reason, and science. They brought these three things, they thought, to improve society, to improve people the way they thought. It was an excellent time. But as the Enlightenment helped our society, and it also improved our world, because look at the technology we have today. A lot of this came from the Enlightenment. There were scientists that came out of the Enlightenment. Medicine, everything you could think of came out of the Enlightenment. Awesome. And we probably wouldn't be where we're at today without some of these people. But it also created some false ideas about God. For instance, there's a concept called deism. D-E-I-S-M. D-E-I-S-M. Deism. This is the belief that, hey, God created the world, said, wow, good job, left us all alone, backed off. And man was in charge of taking care of, ourselves. We're supposed to help. Of course, does that really happen? Look at us. Remember we talked about if we had our own little country? How many opinions do you think would be, forming our own little country? John knows, right, John? King John over there? Yes, dictatorship. All right? There would be all these opinions. Man cannot do it alone. We need to submit to God, our higher authority. Okay, guys, right now we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to do some practice, okay?
There's no word there. Yeah, like tyranny. Kinghead. Who wants to be vice tyrant? I want to be vice tyrant. No, I'm vice tyrant.
John, you already appointed.
Sure. Oh yeah, James is already vice tyrant.
But you already assassinated.
Oh yeah, I took your.
I took your gadget.
Yeah, what? Evil.
Evil.
I'm just.
Later on, huh?
I'm so scared.
You know what?
You already settled this in court.
No.
I was already dead. How could I have gotten it? Don't worry.
Your lawyer went to court.
Okay.
My lawyer is part of it.
Yeah.
How is that fair? It's not fair. You're not really fair.
I don't have a cam.
He has a torture cam.
Yeah.
I'm a general.
I carry a whip with me everywhere. No. What are we doing now? It says,
Oh, yeah.
okay, here we go.
Oh, the States.
Not right now. We're going to watch it later.
pause it.
Just gotta get it ready.
You don't memorize it for
Okay.
memorize the FBI warning.
I've said it once. James is my pirate. What am I?
Oh my god. Sammy is gonna be Tiger Shoes. What? I make a new position called slave. Tiger Shoes. You're servant for life.
What?
No, like the indentured servant that has an unlimited.
We don't have a
No.
for you. I know where I read it because I to find who the first
Okay, there was an activity sheet that's passed out to you called the New England Primer. So with that, would you go ahead and you can use the back of this paper to write on. Okay, you don't have to take out these papers. I have 2 questions at the bottom. We're going to discuss them right now. Now, before we begin this, what's happening?
we did the
New England, Ben Franklin. I'm talking about New England Primer. The New England Primer last year. Got it? Okay, you can use the back. Yes, Karen?
I don't know how, but I have to think that it was a song.
Okay, thank you. All right. On the back of this paper, we're going to answer some questions. But before we do, let's go back to manners. All right. What other things could you think of when it came to manners? What else? Yes, Lily? Okay, good. Rachel?
Like if you have a hat.
Oh, yeah. The hat issue, definitely. Okay, when you're in a building, of course, it doesn't matter. I mean, really, they used to say church, but it's in any building. Okay, you shouldn't wear a hat. It's a sign of respect. Okay, take off your hat. No, we want to see your face. God created you, your beauty. We want to see your face. Okay? All right, what else? How about things we would like to see in the school? Yes, Rachel?
No running.
No running. Okay, good answer. Yes. And you know what I don't like is when we're running and as people are running, they don't even notice you and they kind of push you over. Have you had that happen?
Yes.
Yes.
or if they're back.
Oh yeah. Their backpack is running with them. Yeah. Or, okay. Anything else? What else could we probably add to manners in the school? Girls, yes? More respectful to teachers, okay? How about, we talked about being respectful to adults. Are we respectful to people, adults at the mall? Okay, do we move out of the way? Do you think we live in a society where we don't trust people anymore? Is that why the manners are going away? You know, I don't know about you, because, I'm an adult, and if probably a young person came and asked me if they wanted to carry my bags or something like that, I'd probably be like, sure, what are you going to do with my bags? Are you going to take them away from me? But you know what? We are Christians, and we're called to be different, all right? I like it when I hear stories in the paper of how somebody returned $10,000 that they found at the metro, okay? And it's like, oh, you don't hear that. And people don't really kind of think about that, but that's mannerly. When you find something, you take it back. Or you give it to somebody who might find, go ahead and maybe locate the owner. But a lot of people, for the most part, if you found $10,000 at the metro station, and there's always thousands of people that go through there, you could say, hey, $10,000, Christmas is coming up, okay? Right? But wonderful if we take it to find the proper authorities and say, I found this $10,000, let me give it back to you, okay? We can do that with simple things, all right? How many of you find a pen or pencil on the floor and say, hey, this is pretty nice? Yes, John? Do you do that? And you keep it? And it's in the simple things, all right? But good manners would be, let's take it back, all right? So think about that some more. I'm going to go ahead and end class today without manners. But let's look at the New England Primer. Now on page 100 of your book, they talk a little bit in the bottom part where the illustrations are, at the very bottom. And talks a little, doesn't really tell a whole lot about the New England Primer. So let's go ahead and read together. It was a very small textbook, first published in Boston, about 1683, and I'm reading from your activity sheet. If most of the children of colonial America learned to read from this book. The primer included rhyme couplets to teach the alphabet, vocabulary words, and numerous short poems. Anybody here like to write poetry? Oh, come on, roses are red, violets are blue. Yeah, so you can finish something for me, right? Okay, it can be fun, and yet, yes, it can be serious. But poetry and poems are a lot easier to remember. Numerous short poems and reading selections. Here's some excerpts below. Who wants to read the first one? Good children must. Okay, Lily, you want to read that one?
So do I go like Fear God all day, love Christ always?
Yes, just read that one on the left-hand side.
Just on
Just on the
Fear
left.
God all day, parents obey, no false things say, but no sin stray.
And then go to the other side.
Love Christ always, in secret pray, mind little play, make no delay, Indian day.
Very good. Children must. What is this little poem trying to tell children? What should they do? Oh, come on. The first line gives it away. Yes, Nicole?
Basically just a whole list of like what you're supposed to do, like free God, obey parents, don't lie.
Now remember when you were probably maybe in kindergarten, first grade, and you used to say these little poems and stuff like that, and it would be fun to say. Of course, like I just said, it was always fun to say, roses are red, violets are blue. I love you, and so does, I don't know. Okay, but it was always fun, and you always made little songs up. Well, think about this. The children would read this primer. Okay, good children must, and you can come up with a little song, like John Coe always does little songs, right? Everybody knows John Coe makes up little songs. Fear God all day, parents obey. False thing to say. You know how it would work, right? You would hear children play in the schoolyard and recite this over and over again. And eventually they start realizing, what am I saying? They start thinking and they start wondering, fear God all day. Have reverence for Him. Respect Him. Okay? Now who wants to read the other poem on the other side? Okay, Rachel.
Awake, arise, behold thou hast thy life belief, thy breath blast. At night lie down, prepared to have thy sleep, thy death, thy bed, thy grave.
Okay, now let's look at the first two lines. Awake, arise, behold thou hast thy life a leaf, thy breath a blast. We don't talk like this anymore, right? All right, now what do you think those first two lines are saying? Awake, arise, behold thou hast thy life a leaf, thy breath a blast. Lily.
I think it's saying that you need to live your life and live it to its fullest.
Hey, I like that. That's really good. What else would it probably possibly be saying? Nicole?
Like if your life is over and like gone.
Great, good, guys. I'm glad you're getting it. When you get up, yes. Behold, you have your life ahead of you. What if this was your last day on earth? How would you leave it? Think about it. Thy life a leaf. Have you seen the leaves falling recently?
Yeah.
They fall off really quick, don't they? And they're so pretty. but then they fall to the ground and then people are stepping all over them. Thy life a leaf, thy breath a blast. The Bible even describes that our life is like a vapor. It's here one day and gone tomorrow. We don't know what the next moment holds. So we live life to the fullest, okay? At night lie down, prepared to, and they didn't really say have because it has to rhyme with grave. Sometimes they would say have. At night lie down, prepared to have. Thy sleep, thy death, thy bed, thy grave. It kind of sounds sad, doesn't it? Oh my God. What's that? There's that little Bible, that prayer that a lot of children say at night. Remember what I'm talking about? Lord, I lay me down to sleep. You know what I'm talking about now? I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Okay? And some people think that's depressing. Okay? What, am I going to die in my sleep and then the Lord's going to take me? Well, look at what they're saying here. And again, it was sort of like a little prayer. At night lie down, prepared to have. Thy sleep, thy death, thy bed, thy grave. Okay? Again, we're putting our life in God's hands. It's in His hands we rest. Now, let's look at some of the things on the bottom, the little sayings. And this taught the alphabet. Okay, let's go around the room and say the letter A, B, C, D, okay? We'll start with Andy, since you're letter A. Okay, Andy, start with A.
In Adam's fall, we sing it all.
Okay, Mitchell?
My life to man who spoke of men.
Sammy?
The cat doth play and after sleep.
Rachel?
The dog will bite the thief.
An eagle's flight is out of sight.
The ideal floor is with
That's cool, I like that one. Nicole?
As runs the glass, man's life doth pass.
my book and heart shall never part.
John?
Jah feels the rod, yet blesses God.
Our King the good, no man of one. The lion gold, the lamb got gold.
The moon gives light in time of night.
Nightingale singing in time of spring.
Royal oak, it was the tree that saved his royal majesty.
Eric?
Peter denies his Lord and cries.
Queen Esther comes in royal state to save the Jews from dismal fate. Rachel tells the Lord
Samuel anoints whom God appoints.
Time cuts down all those great and small.
Okay, let's all finish it all together. Uriah's beauteous wife made David seek his life. Xerxes the great did die, and so must you and I. Youth forwards lips, death soonest nips. Zacchaeus, he did climb the tree, his Lord to see. Okay, now think about the alphabet. We know how we learn the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A lot easier than what these kids had to do, okay? But the rhyme stuck with them. They learned how to rhyme, they learned how to speak, they were learning the Bible, and they were learning the alphabet. Okay? Do you see how it all kinds of ties in together? All right? Yes, Will?
How come it doesn't have I, V, or W?
Why do you think?
They're hard to rhyme with.
Hard to rhyme? You think so? Okay, good. That could be one reason. Nicole?
Wasn't there alphabet back then?
That's good, yeah. A lot of those letters were not used yet. The way they sounded, okay, they're still trying to kind of formulate the English language, and it wouldn't be used in there. They would use, in place of letter I, they would use the letter E, perhaps, okay? Because they could go ahead and use E. Yes, sir?
like on A,
Uh-huh.
there's an I instead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
B with I blank.
Right.
But then there's
Again, the way they went ahead and put it in the language we're used to. But for some parts, again, they went ahead and left it out. Okay? So you could go ahead and change the letters around. Okay, now, let's go ahead and answer these questions. What is the source for most of the references given in the alphabet lesson? Sammy?
Greek Bible.
Good. the Bible. Do you think values were communicated in the primer were representative of colonial America in general? Do you think what they were showing showed the life, the culture of colonial America? Yes or no? Yes? It's okay, right? Yeah.
I sort of think it's partially because the revolts and everything they don't say anything about God. They just always throw it there.
Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this one for instance. Real quick, guys. Look back at the one where, let's see, which one was it? Something about whip. Oh, that letter F. The idle fool is whipped at school. Okay, what's a fool? Sam? Why did you raise your hand first? What's a fool? The smartest person? Not the smartest person? Okay. Anybody else have a definition for fool?
Someone who doesn't really think before they do something.
Okay.
Like someone who doesn't work very hard, who just doesn't do anything.
Okay, good. All right. The idle fool. And what's idle? American Idol? Don? Lazy. The lazy fool, okay, is whipped at school. Probably when somebody wrote the textbook, I don't know what they were trying to say here, is whipped at school. Who's whipping him at? The teacher? I think it was the teacher? With a ruler? Perhaps. Okay, the idle fool is whipped at school. Okay, is this a value in colonial America? Do you think this was a value? Do you think this was communicated? Perhaps, right? Okay. Again, the Bible is also showing that it's a value. All right, the lion, bold, the lamb that hold. I like how they use a lot of biblical characters. Say, name some of the biblical characters in here. Sammy. Job. Zacchaeus. David.
Adam.
Esther. Esther. Yes. Was Xerxes? Yes, Xerxes was. Excellent. Peter. Okay. Yes. Samuel. Any more? Nicole?
Wait, did we already say Zacchaeus?
We said Zacchaeus.
Uriah?
Uriah. Who was Uriah?
Wait, but it says Peter.
Yeah, we said Peter.
Rachel.
Was who? Rachel. Yeah, Rachel is in the Bible. Adam. David. But who is Uriah? Yes? The husband of Bathsheba. You guys are good. I like the way you guys think. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to watch Virginia right now. You can wait. Sorry. That's okay. Okay. Now, boys, you're going to have to make an opening for me because I got to move it back a little bit. Okay? Excuse me, boys. I need to make an opening for the part. We're going to watch Virginia. You ready? Excuse me, I don't want to run over you, okay? Is it clear enough? Yes? Okay. I feel like I should have a little bit. Let's watch Virginia.
Michigan.
We're going to stay with Virginia.
No. Ohio. Alabama.
Let's see. Okay. Sammy, do me a favor.
One by one, territories joined together, creating a patchwork nation of 50 different states, united, but each with its own history, spirit, culture, and landmarks. Let's explore the history of 5 of them. Virginia, Ohio, Idaho, Alabama, and North Dakota. Welcome to the States. The first state is called the Mother of Presidents, claiming more than any other state. That's 8 and counting. including 7 of the first 12. It's also known as the Mother of States. Why? Because its early boundaries included parts of Kentucky, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Greetings from the Commonwealth of Virginia, the oldest of the original 13 colonies. On June 25, 1788, it became the 10th state to join the Union. With 7.6 million residents, it ranks 12th in population.
I'm coming from the southern part of Virginia. There's two different parts of Virginia. There's Northern Virginia, which is not the South. It's all suburbs of Washington, D.C. Southern Virginia tends to be more farming community, more factory workers. They believe in God and country, and red, white, and blue.
Virginia took its name from Queen Elizabeth I, also known as the Virgin Queen. But in a bit of historic irony, the well-known slogan, "Virginia is for lovers," has become part of America's lexicon. Invented by a marketing firm in 1969, it initially read, "Virginia is for history lovers." And for good reason.
No matter where you grow up in the United States, when you study American history, you study to a great extent Virginia history. It is a key component of the American experience, and in a sense that's what makes Virginia history so very special, so rich and interesting.
We like to note that 3 major leaders were here, including Washington, who we consider the sword of the Revolution, Thomas Jefferson, the pen of the Revolution, and Patrick Henry, the voice of the Revolution.
Henry's most famous speech was delivered in 1775 at St. John's Church in Richmond. With courage and elegance, he cried, "I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death."
3 weeks before the lanterns were hung in Old North Church, Mr. Henry made his liberty or death speech right here.
Henry's leadership did not end once the Revolution was won. He also served 5 terms as the first governor of the state. As for presidents, 8 have come from Virginia. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, Zachary Taylor, and Woodrow Wilson.
I'm very proud of the presidents that came. They're our forefathers, you know. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. These are brilliant, brilliant people.
Aside from all the presidents, Virginia distinguishes itself in other ways. For starters, it doesn't even claim to be a state.
That's correct. Virginia is not a state. Virginia is actually a commonwealth. We're one of only 4 of the 50 states that are actually commonwealths.
I'm quite fond of that. I don't like to be called a state. I got the seal of the Commonwealth of Virginia tattooed on my leg.
Really, there's no difference in modern terms between a state and a commonwealth, but it's a term going back to the colonial period of the commonweal. Those in governing authority are looking at the wealth of the common people as their special charge.
Today, Virginia is probably best known for its history. And yet, in the past, Virginia was best known for its natural beauty and its natural wonders. In the 1780s, Thomas Jefferson wrote a book, in fact, it's the only book he ever wrote, called Notes on the State of Virginia. And if you look at that, you realize that Virginia was world famous in the 1700s and the 1800s for its natural wonders. These were world famous attractions before anyone knew about Yosemite or Yellowstone.
The first Englishmen to gaze upon the wonders of Virginia were fortune hunters, whose purpose was to make a profit for themselves and the Virginia Company of London. On Jamestown Island, they established the first permanent English settlement in the New World, a full 13 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. But these early colonists were hardly Virginia's first residents.
The English realized that they were coming into an area where there was a substantial native population. What they didn't think of was the fact that the Indians had a well-developed culture of their own.
And of course, they brought over English ideas about government, about law, about the ownership of property, which the Indians, for example, considered that all land was just something that was sort of held communally for the benefit of the community.
The land was certainly good to the English community, as they successfully planted tobacco and other crops. The desire for more territory increased, along with the population. By the 1670s, Jamestown Colony had some 35,000 residents, but with the newcomers pushing further and further into the wilderness, conflict with the natives seemed inevitable.
The tributary Indians dealt with all this rather well, but as they were pressed back toward the falls of the major rivers, they encountered hostile, stronger, warlike tribes, Susquehannocks, Iroquois, that lived in the interior of the continent.
Escalating tensions with the Indians sparked political discord in the colony. Two pivotal characters emerged: Sir William Berkeley, Jamestown's royal governor, and his cousin by marriage, a young man who wanted to exterminate the native population. His name was Nathaniel Bacon, and he's best remembered as the instigator of events now known as Bacon's Rebellion.
Small farmers who ran outlying plantations and farms felt that the governor and his group in Jamestown were not taking care of them, were not protecting them. And so Bacon led a group that were feeling these grievances against the governor.
What little land that was left to the Indians at that point, these poor whites wanted to seize it. And they wanted kind of a government sanction to do that. And Governor Berkeley wouldn't give it to them. And so they initiated wars on their own against the Indians.
Bacon led two preemptive expeditions against the tribes. While he became a hero to many colonists, he couldn't get the governor's support. Ultimately, Bacon's men took control of Jamestown itself and then tried to destroy it.
And they literally put the town to the torch. They went from building to building, setting them ablaze. In fact, some of Bacon's followers burnt their own houses that they owned here on the island, and they even set fire to the State House and the church.
Bacon even wrote a document he called a Declaration of the People, leading some to suggest that his rebellion was, in fact, the first American Revolution.
Bacon and his men actually took a pledge to defy the Crown of England as well as the royal governor. And so when the word reached London, London sent troops. By the time the troops got to Virginia, Bacon was dead and gone. The rebellion was over, but the troops stayed.
Bacon's rebellion began a legacy that saw Virginia at the forefront of America's most pivotal moments. In 1781, the last great battle of the Revolution was...
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, guys, since we're going to do our assignment books. So let's go back to chart, and I'll show the rest to you on Friday, Tuesday. So you got your assignment books, so go ahead and do your homework. Okay, your homework. Alright, on Tuesday, I need you to study 4.2 part 2, which is today. It is about, of course, our culture, our religion, education, our families. You can study that part today. Psalms 107:1, of course, will be on it. And, of course, the Galatians, our classwork, 6, 8, and 10. That'll be our reading and notes quiz on Tuesday. Then I need you to answer questions 5 and 6 on page 103 of your textbook. Okay, follow the directions as they give them to you. Just those two questions, 5 and 6. That's all I need you to do for Tuesday. Questions 5 and 6. Okay. Did everybody get that? Any questions on that?